Welcome back to Katherine Johnson, Chapter 4. Katherine Takes Off. The Soviet Union took an early lead in the space race. In 1957, they launched Sputnik 1. It was the first man-made satellite to successfully orbit the Earth. A satellite is a small object that revolves around a larger object. The U.S. launched its first satellite the following year. The Soviet Union took the lead again when it came to sending a man into space on April 12, 1961. Cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin, a Russian astronaut, is called a cosmonaut, orbited the Earth aboard Vostok 1. The U.S. followed less than a month later. On May 5, 1961, astronaut Alan Shepard made a partial orbit around the Earth in Freedom 7. This is page 27. This is what page 26 looks like. Now we're going to page 28. It had required extremely complex and precise mathematical calculations to arrive at the proper flight path for the spacecraft and to keep Shepard safe. Who had done the math? Katherine. For her entire career, Katherine insisted that no one person was responsible for any specific achievement. She believed in teamwork. However, she also knew just how skilled she was at math. NASA knew it too. NASA put Katherine on the team that worked to send Friendship 7 and astronaut John Glenn into space on February 20th, 1962. Katherine worked on the tracking system that would predict within 2 miles where the spacecraft would land after making 3 full orbits around the Earth. They say the patch was worn by Friendship 7 astronauts right here. It says Mercury 6, Friendship 7, and I believe that says Glenn. NASA was relying on its first electronic computer to calculate Friendship 7's flight path. John Glenn, however, had more faith in Katherine than any new technology. He insisted that Katherine check the computer's numbers. He said, "If she says the computer is right, I'll take it." Katherine worked for a day and a half on the calculations that the computer had done. She arrived at the same exact numbers. Turning the page. Katherine's precise spaceflight calculations were not her only unique accomplishments at NASA. Early in NASA's history, only men attended the briefing meetings where spaceflight was discussed. Katherine wanted to be at those meetings and kept asking if she could go. She even asked, "Is there a law against it?" Katherine's persistence paid off. She was eventually invited to attend all briefing meetings, and she participated in the discussions. She was also the first woman in her division to have her name included on a report. The report contained theories Katherine had helped to develop about how to launch, track, and bring back spacecraft. Great job for her. Katherine also became an important member of the team behind Apollo 11. By the late 1960s, both the Soviet Union and the U.S. had launched unmanned vehicles on the moon, but neither had ever put a person on the moon. Apollo 11 was going to be the first manned spaceflight to land on the moon. On July 16, 1969, Apollo 11 launched and headed to the moon with 3 astronauts on board. Katherine had computed the path to get them there. The landing and successful return of Apollo 11's flight to the moon made headlines all around the world, and it could not have been possible without Katherine's help. Page 32. 4 days later, on July 20th, 1969, Katherine, along with the rest of the world, watched on television as astronaut Neil Armstrong took mankind's first step on the moon. The little girl from White Sulphur Springs, who loved to count, had helped the U.S. make world history. The U.S. was now the clear leader in the space race. Katherine admitted to being concerned about the return flight. If we were off by just a few feet or seconds, they were done for, she remembered. The astronauts wouldn't be able to return home. Katherine had no need to worry. Her calculations were as accurate as ever. The astronauts splashed down safely in the Pacific Ocean on July 24th, 1969. Here is the picture, the illustration of it. We have reached the end of chapter 4. Stay tuned for chapter 5.